Hello, and welcome to today's transmission, which is all about regrets and looking at what they're even about energetically and how we can use Mercury retrograde as the perfect time to go over again something in the past that we regret. It doesn't mean rolling around in it or trying to decide or determine who's right or wrong. Uh, there's learning there for sure. We can contemplate what maybe could have been done differently, and there's lots of ways um, we can bring in a process around that. But the primary piece here is simply to recognize that there's some type of illusion running somewhere in consciousness, somewhere in the past, perhaps that you've transformed, gone beyond, and so that regret is, I wish I had known now what back then. So if that's the feeling you're getting, if it's this idea of, I wish I would have known then what I know now, that's an indicator that what you're really wanting to do as a multidimensional being that has access to all kinds of multiple dimensions of consciousness, including different time places in the time spiral continuum, is to send the level of your higher self energetic information to you in the past. And you can invite your higher self, body's higher self, and teams to do that. To all those moments where there might be a schism, a regret, a wishing it had gone a different way, or maybe just wishing it had been more harmonic if it was perhaps the ending of a relationship or a phase of the journey. And so just take a moment to send all the appropriate energetic information you have to yourself in those appropriate moments. That's really that your past self asking for it, which is why you feel the nudge or why it keeps coming to mind, why it keeps coming to awareness. And so just keeps intending to send the information far beyond the mind until it feels like it completes. And if it doesn't feel fully, you don't feel the relief or the relaxation or the peace on some level, maybe really subtle layer of peace that drops in, then you can also invite yourself from the future as an ascended master, your body, David, from the future in a fully enlightened state, to go back in time and be with you in those moments and to help share information, model solution, walk with you through those opportunities for evolution, is how we're going to word that. We value the empowered lens. We encourage the empowered lens. And then let that balance and stabilize, ripple, reflect into the now, update all grids, all reference points, see how you feel in relationship to it now. And you can do this again and again for different moments. You can do this again for moments you're not even conscious of that were maybe from previous incarnations. And then if there still feels like something else wishes to happen, like there's still this, I wish it could have happened more harmonically, or I wish I could still get the lesson, but again, it's more harmonic. So take a moment to imagine and intend you, your body, your teams, the level of your higher selves going back in time and redoing it in a more harmonic way, a more maybe with the greater level of kindness you have now, or a greater level of self-love you have now, or a greater level of awareness you have now, the consciousness you have now. Redo it in some other on some other timeline, basically. Just imagine it happening a different way. Imagine the conversation going differently, or the ending going differently, or the interaction going differently, or the conversation with self going differently. The way we reacted to whatever occurred. Imagine our reaction being different. whatever it is, just imagine redoing. And you don't even have to know the specifics. You can just invite your higher self to go back in time, body, team, same, and redo it in a more harmonic way, which basically generates a parallel universe, parallel timeline, where it did happen more harmonically. And then that can ripple and reflect to you in the now, and you can be positively, empathically impacted by the more harmonic, because the more harmonic will always be more potent than the dissonance, no matter where it occurs in the time spiral continuum. It ripples, it reflects into the now. And so even if there still is in, say, like they're showing me like history, like the writing, the records of a dissonance occurred, well, now you also have the harmonic version of it that basically trumps the dissonance vibration. It's a lot louder. It's a lot more powerful. Because it's coherent. It's not distorted. It's not in a separation consciousness construct. It's in a unified, coherent field that's more connected, more empowered, more aligned with the divine design. And that will always be more potent than the dissonance, which is why at this time it's really a powerful process and exercise for us to go back and generate those alternate universes, so to speak, so that we are positively empathically impacted by them. Then we're not having the dissonance affect us, and we can hold as an overall for ourselves more strong coherent fields. And as we hold more strong coherent fields, that ripples. We are part of humanity. We came in as the Trojan horses by design, by choice, and also were chosen because we were qualified to be able to look past the imposters of what we're supposed to believe is true and believe in divine truth instead. So take a moment, allowing all of that you just did to ripple and reflect to you here, and maybe be in gratitude for your ability to be conscious, awake, and aware. It's like a conscious ninja warrior of sorts, but not by force, by ingenuity. And by crafting your own coherence, all places and spaces in the time spiral continuum, you're of great service. And that's the side effect. First and foremost, you benefit, you evolve yourself, you get to take that with you wherever you go once you complete this stint in your journey, this incarnation. And so we want to just take a moment and acknowledge your courage and all that you've been through to get here, all those schisms in consciousness that you used to evolve you, brought you here. So maybe take a moment and be in gratitude for all those past moments that we're learning. And every time you use a past schism for learning, the regret will dissolve. If it doesn't, you can do these processes we just brought forward, or use these processes that we brought forward to inspire your own processes that you're like, oh, well, what about this? Well, what about that? You each have your own mastery. And a lot of times what we do in these types of energetic conversations is we help you remember what you know. It begins to activate in your fields. So we encourage you to lean into what you know and always follow your own guidance, always follow your own, what you're being inspired to do. If we're suggesting to do something a certain way, that's just a suggestion, an invitation. And if you get nudged to do it a bit differently, that's your way. Yes, do it your way. There is no hierarchy in consciousness. And you're in the midst of, during this very, very, very potent time, as we are in the galactic New Year energy and preparing for the Lion's Gate to begin to open at the end of July. It starts to open. It will reach its peak on 8/8. Very potent time for launching into the new, for transformation, for I'm being shown the idea of the year of the snake, shedding the skins that we've outgrown and revealing what we've become. Very potent time. And that's really, the guides are saying, the next 3 months. Because then we have eclipse season right on the tail end, equinox, eclipse season. So the next 3 months, play with this idea of transformative time, a time for quantum leaps, a time to change and shift a pattern that maybe my whole life hasn't budged. And then we're also going to bring in, as we move into a place of completion for this transmission, an energetic process to support you, your body, your teams in scanning your fields for any regrets you are being empathically impacted by that are not actually yours. And we're just going to invite you, your body, your teams at the level of your higher selves to sit in a safe, supportive space where you can employ your guides to help support you. Council of Light can help support you. Masters can help support you. You in the future as an ascended master can help support you to scan your fields for any dissonance, regret that is not actually yours, someone else's. And perhaps in a previous incarnation or this incarnation, when a boundary was crossed and fragments were given and taken, you're actually holding a fragment of someone else and it's holding their energy of regrets, which then the mind, our beautiful, lovely mind, will come up with a reason why we're in this vibration of regret. Well, it must be about this or it must be about that. So we try to find a linear explanation. And we just encourage you to stay out of the linear. And are you willing to release all the meaning you've given it and return, invite your higher selves, bodies, higher selves, teams to return all those empathic regrets that aren't even yours back to their right and perfect place, along with all relevant and appropriate energetic information and the responsibility for resolving it. And as you share information, you can share the information that you just garnered in this energetic conversation. Oh, well, you could do this process when you're ready, if you want. That's fuel for your evolution. I would never take that from you. And then return and retrieve fragments appropriately in the appropriate places and spaces in the time spiral continuum, probably in the debrief at the end of the incarnation, activating all vibrations of spiritual lessons appropriately and doing the appropriate energetic cleanup, forgiveness, release of all involved from the recognition that it was all a learning and it was scripted on some level. Prior to the incarnation, we signed up to play roles for each other and we did it. And on some level, we did a really good job playing those roles because it felt very disempowering or not safe or not supportive, disconnected. So a lot of imposter energy there, right? Because we're one with source. So it takes a lot of effort to pretend not to be. It takes a lot of ingenuity and creative force to roll around in the imposter, like pretending to be something we're not, or pretending to be a victim, pretending to be a perpetrator, pretending to be separate from source. So we're just inviting a healing for all those moments. And again, the energetic cleanup of the fragments. Bringing your fabric, your fragments back on you in a whole and healed state. And then ripple and reflect it after you integrate it fully through every appropriate developmental stage to the present moment, so that you're now positively, empathically impacted by what you just did in moving beyond an old identification of you. And you might say to yourself and claim the truth, I am one with source. I am infinitely loved in this moment and in every moment, even in the moments that I was an imposter. and pretended to be separate from source. It's almost like undercover spy, undercover agent. And so just sending love to yourself in all those moments. Love for yourself, for having the courage, for having the strength, the ingenuity, the wherewithal to do all of that, all those moments of crossing boundaries and power learning and power struggles and struggle. Sending love, compassion to self, activating greater self love, greater compassion for self, letting that integrate. And then balance and stabilize. Update all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. And if you'd like to journey with us during this very potent time in the live transmissions, we're going to be doing one on Saturday, August 2nd for the Empowered Evolution Masterclass. And right now I'm feeling into the idea of it being relating to resources in some way, but that could shift. It doesn't feel fully grounded yet, but the guides were really specific. The Council of Light really wanted to offer something at this time because Mercury's in retrograde and we can go deeper into the energetic closet, as they say. So if you're inspired to join us for that, recognize that you help to inform the session. So it's always crafted in the higher realms in collaboration with the Council of Light and your higher self. And so it is always custom for you. So even though we don't always have the outline ahead of time of everything that's going to be addressed, recognize that whatever is coming up for you, you're welcome to share that with us in an email if you enroll, and we'll bring that into a conscious awareness and crafting it. But know that you're informing the session as much as Council of Light is informing the session. It's a round table collaboration from oneness. And the same thing is true for the Lionsgate transmission that we're going to be doing on 8/8. And that is on a sliding scale. And so feel into whether either of those or maybe both resonate for you to journey with us. And we look forward to connecting with you all soon and encourage you to share your feedback, reflections with us. If you are guided on like suggestions on what we can speak to in these YouTube offerings, and just feeling into the session that just occurred, the regrets, feels more calm. So we're just going to encourage you to continue to integrate and maybe even cocoon your energetic fields in a way that allows you to keep working, keep integrating on different pieces. Feel free to re-listen to this recording to do different places and spaces that you might be holding regret in the past about a past experience. And you can also set the intention that some part of you is working with your guides, your higher self, your body and its guides, higher self, to heal all past regrets during this Mercury retrograde. So just imagine setting up a safe, supportive space in a dimension where you're working on healing, evolving, shifting all those past regrets, basically using them for your evolution and sending yourself information in the past. We invite a balancing and stabilizing of all your energetic fields, updating all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. Thank you for showing up.